Bro, you can tell how hardcore of a Sonic fan I am. Look, I got the Sonic comic and the Sonic poster they were giving out for this movie.
How's it going, everyone? Late to the party here. A lot of people have been talking about the second Sonic movie, and yeah, I know I'm a bit late to the party. LTTP, as always. Man, fucking Chris Raygun gets videos out quicker than I do. You know, one of the things I said at the beginning of the year is I wanted to do more of these off-the-cuff MC Swigga type videos. And since I did an MC Swigga movie review of the first Sonic movie, just kind of felt like I'd had to do an impromptu MC Swigga Sonic movie 2 review. So basically what happens, it's more of the same. Robotnik gets back to their world because Knuckles comes and helps him, because he's looking for Sonic, because he was part of the rivaling Echidna tribe that killed the owl thing that was the mother figure to Sonic. Tails has been watching Sonic for all this time, so he decides that he's gonna try and join in the fight, hence why they did the little setup at the end of the last movie. So now Tails is gonna try and warn Sonic that Knuckles is coming for him, hence why they did the thing at the end of the first movie. He shows up to warn Sonic about Knuckles, and Knuckles says, you know, kid, you got gumption, you got moxie, so you know what, you're gonna be my sidekick now, so you're gonna kick ass with me by my side. And Tails is a little nervous about that because, you know, he says that he's the egghead, he's the inventor, he's not really much of a fighter. But then eventually when Knuckles comes to their side and they're all good guys now, obviously it's going to be all three of them. Just like in the third Genesis game, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Man's assistant who makes him coffee also shows up and he kind of becomes a character for a while. There's a few scenes where he interacts with the bumbling cop assistant from the first movie, Wade. And the human characters from the first one, you know, James Marsden and his girlfriend and her sister, yeah, they come back. And they have a subplot, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit because, oh man, that subplot. As for the positives, the thing I could definitely give this movie is it has more Sonic stuff to offer. Like the first one I liked, but in comparison, this one has a lot more Sonic lore behind it just because you're getting more characters this time around. You're actually getting Tails, you're getting Knuckles. You have a lot of stuff from the games come back. They kind of hinted at this in the first one, but this one delves a little bit more into the fact that Sonic can't swim in water. That was, or at least last that long in water. That was something that it was only like mentioned in one scene specifically. And here they decided to flesh it out, which I thought that was nice. The Chaos Emeralds, those become a thing. You get Super Sonic at the ends. That's something. And there's a couple of other surprises that lead me to believe this might become a franchise, considering this one made a lot of money. So yeah, look forward to a Sonic 3 eventually. In terms of the Sonic content, I actually think this one was a little bit better versus the first one, which, yeah, it did have Sonic stuff in it, and it wasn't a bad movie, at least not to me, but in comparison, I feel like this one actually does feel a little bit better just because they have so much Sonic content, Sonic lore to work off of. After the first one, it feels like a good idea for them to try and branch a little bit more into that, considering we now have more than just two characters with Sonic and Eggman. So I give him credit for that. I like that. Jim Carrey was still good as Dr. Eggman. I still think that after all these years, the fact that Jim Carrey can still play these wacky elastic characters, I found that hard to believe. And there's also a part later at the end when he gets the Chaos Emerald, and of course, since the emerald is green, you know, his outfit temporarily turns green, and it's like, well, that's about the fourth time on film Jim Carrey's turned green. Although, cringe warning, there's a part where he does the Floss Dance. God, it's been 2 years since the first movie, and they still thought that the fucking Fortnite Floss Dance was worthy enough to put in this movie. That kind of hurt, just a little bit. It was bad enough when Sonic did it in the first movie. How much did they pay Jim Carrey to do that fucking Floss Dance in this movie? Other than that, I actually thought that Jim Carrey was really good as the character once again. It's gonna be interesting seeing how, again, like, they pretty much heavily imply that he's dead. So, and it's going off of the fact that Jim Carrey said that he was going to be retiring, and there's a huge back and forth as to whether or not that's actually going to happen or whatever. But with the thing that happens at the end and the thing that's kind of leading into the next one, it's like, all right, well, again, it feels like they're going to try and expand a little bit more on the Sonic lore and the Sonic content. So, I mean, there's that at least. It'll definitely be interesting considering Jim Carrey was like one of the best things about the first two Sonic movies in my opinion. I thought the action scenes were pretty cool. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff in there where, you know, you got car chases, you got especially the ending battle scene where they're going up against the giant robot Death Egg from the games. I thought that was pretty cool. You know, Super Sonic showing up, that was neat. There's a part in the movie where they're going down a cliff and there's an avalanche chasing after them, and Sonic and Knuckles are on like snowboards, and part of me just had this nasty image in my head of just, oh great, yeah, that's what people want to be reminded of. It's no use. Remind people of Sonic 06. Now, generally speaking, I would recommend this movie. If you liked the first one, then yeah, sure, go for it. Watch this one. It is interesting because when I saw reviews of this thing pop up on the YouTube main page, there was such a stark contrast. There was one that said, oh, Sonic 2, step in the right direction. And there was another one that was, Sonic 2 is kind of disappointing. So I'm just like, well, and they were like right next to each other. I was like, well, thanks, YouTube algorithm. For once, you did something right. Two completely conflicting Sonic movie reviews next to each other. While I am generally recommending this, especially if you did like the first movie, I gotta bring up these two things that just kind of bugged me. And they're not even like huge complaints or anything, but there were just two things that stuck out to me about this movie that I just wanted to bring up. So first of all, the pop culture references that are in this, like, this is like a thing I've noticed with a lot of movies nowadays. It feels like everyone's trying to like, everyone must have seen Avengers and was like, oh, well, you know, they do it in those movies where, you know, oh yeah, we'll have a tense action sequence, but then we'll have people, you know, just say a snappy one-liner, like every other 5 lines of dialogue. And not only is it a one-liner, but it also has to be a pop culture reference. And there is like so much dialogue like that at the beginning of the movie. Considering that Sonic's character arc is that he has to do some growing up, they literally say that several times, that, you know, Sonic says, oh, I'm just a kid, I gotta do some growing up. And Knuckles at one point calls him out for like, you're such a child, you never take anything seriously, everything's just a big joke to you. And it's like, all right, well, Sonic doing that kind of dialogue, that's one thing. But when they have other characters do it, sometimes it just comes off like, okay, whoa. Can we not have every other line of dialogue be some kind of zinger? The one that stuck out to me is one that they not only reference, but they do it twice. It's when Sonic and Tails are hiding with Wade. They're trying to stay away from Knuckles and Robotnik. And basically, they're watching this footage that's telling them about the Chaos Emerald and what it does. And they say, like, it can bring anyone's innermost desires to reality. And Wade goes, oh, so it's like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. And it's like, okay, well, that's a reference, I guess. Then later on in the movie, when Robotnik gets his hands on the Chaos Emerald, he's able to make this giant robot death egg, and it shows Wade tied up because that was a whole thing. Wade ends up getting captured by Robotnik and his assistant guy. And he sees the death egg being assembled, and he goes, yeah, just like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Like, I just had no idea how to react to that. I was like, okay, Ghostbusters reference. I mean, Ghostbusters is a great movie and all, but okay. In that avalanche sequence, Sonic turns around and sees Knuckles behind him, and he goes, oh, look at this guy, Winter Soldier over here. And it's like there's so many lines of dialogue that are like that. It's like, okay, you want to chill out with the references? Like, yes, I get it. The guy playing Knuckles is in the Avengers. He's on Marvel's payroll. Again, yeah, it makes sense when Sonic does it. I'm just using that as an example. It's like, there are so many lines of dialogue where it's like I said, after Avengers, everyone's trying to do like that, zinger, snap, yeah, pop culture reference for you, butt. It's like, how many times are they gonna do that? When Sonic does it, it's one thing. But, like, again, that Ghostbusters reference, and like, there's so many of those all throughout the movie. There's a part when Robotnik is about to backstab Knuckles, and he says, you're as useless to me as a backstage pass to Limp Bizkit. And it's like, I get the context of the joke. I get that it's a reference. Like, it's not even a terrible reference or anything like that. It's like, I get what they're going for, but it was just like, okay, Limp Bizkit reference, cool. The other thing I gotta bring up is the subplot, because, like, okay, the reason that James Marsden and his girlfriend are away, and the reason that Sonic is left home alone in the first half of the movie, and that's when Tails, Knuckles, and Eggman show up, but James Marsden and his girlfriend are away in Hawaii because they're gonna be part of her sister's wedding. And her sister was in the first movie for like 2 scenes maybe, but here they dedicate a whole subplot to her fiance and James Marsden are trying to do some male bonding, and James Marsden feels emasculated because this guy's like, he's jacked, he beats him with his bros at a game of volleyball. And the thing is, it's not a super like prominent subplot. Like, they only do it like a couple of times until eventually they reintroduce them back into the story pretty much. And that's where the avalanche thing happens, because The rings end up getting switched because like I said, it's a wedding. The wedding rings get switched, and then the wedding ring ends up being the ring that opens a portal, and Sonic and Tails, who is now knocked out, and the giant snow from the avalanche end up pouring into the wedding. The wedding is ruined, and then it's revealed that the wedding was all just one big setup by that organization from the beginning that was trying to get their hands on Sonic because he's, an alien from another world. So they capture Sonic and Tails, and they take James Marsden because he's been harboring an alien creature. Again, just like Wade, I totally forgot about those guys. I had to rewatch the first movie again. It's just like, oh shit, yeah, that's right, those guys. They're the ones that called Robotnik in and all that kind of thing. But yeah, then they do this whole like elongated subplot where the fiance and James Marsden's girlfriend's sister, they have this whole back and forth. So while the girlfriend is going to try and save James Marsden and Sonic and Tails, there's this whole she goes like bridezilla at one point, and like she's freaking out at him, and it's like, oh, you lied to me. This entire wedding was a lie. And then he says something about how he fell in love with her for real and he wants to start things over, and it's like, I just kept imagining the Sonic logo in the corner. It's like, oh yeah, that's right, we're watching a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Could you not tell? Because it's just like, and at first I was like, okay, this is a subplot, then we're gonna go back to the Sonic stuff, and then maybe at the very end they'll reference them again and be like, oh, now they're dating and they're trying to start the relationship over or something like that. We never see them ever again. Who knows, maybe they're gonna have them come back and we're gonna continue this little subplot in the third Sonic movie when they eventually release that 2 years from now. Overall, I don't want to say this is a bad movie because, yeah, while I was criticizing those kind of aspects, I don't think that it's a bad movie. I was entertained watching it, and like I said, I liked the Sonic elements, the stuff that was a little bit more connected to the Sonic lore and the canon and all that kind of stuff. The fact that we actually got to see Knuckles and like his character arc, he first hates Sonic and then eventually they end up working together. I liked that aspect of it. Tails was cool. That whole part of the movie I liked. I liked actually seeing more Sonic stuff in this movie. But like those few things, like they just stuck out to me in really weird ways. And it's not like other family movies where like that shit is just so nonstop and it's like, okay, this needs to stop right now. This movie, on the other hand, it's like, it's there. That subplot felt really distracting, especially, again, we never see them ever again. I guess it's set up for the next one. They're gonna try and elaborate more on that next time, but it's like, for now, it's just like, they just disappear. And yet they put so much screen time on that. That was odd. But despite those nitpicks, I did enjoy this one. So yeah, if you did like the first Sonic, then yeah, definitely check this movie out. I would recommend it. I feel like it has a little bit more to offer. So yeah, everybody, if you're a diehard Sonic fan and you like the first Sonic, then I definitely recommend checking this one out. MC Swigger got some new content coming up. I got another Swigger game review, got another Assholes React coming up soon with all the other guys. That'll be pretty lit. And obviously I got a song parody coming up. It's a parody of Ritmo by the Black Eyed Peas for that Bad Boys movie that came out a while. So look forward to all that coming up soon. Until then, y'all, MC Swigger out. Ruckus Knuckles for life. Peace out. Represent.